Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. It is currently 1:06 a.m. on Christmas Eve, going into Christmas Day. And you guys, I got what I wanted for Christmas this year. I was so excited. We just left Melissa's about 20 minutes ago. We went over there after doing our other Christmas Eve stuff. And look, it's snowing outside. I got my white Christmas. Melissa was so excited for me. We like walked out of her house and it has been spitting snow all day today. And we walked outside of Melissa's house and it was like really coming down. And there's probably about a half an inch of snow on the ground, and it's still snowing, which means that tomorrow, because it's supposed to be only like a high of like in the 20s, I think maybe it's supposed to be like a high of 19 or 21 or 24 or something tomorrow, which means the snow will still be on the ground. And I got a white Christmas, and I'm so excited. Every year, that's all I ever really want is a white Christmas, because I think it's so pretty and it is so Christmassy. So I'm very excited about that. And I woke up today and Alex woke me up and he had just taken the dogs outside and he goes, "It's snowing outside." And I go, "No, it's not." I said, "Don't lie to me." And he goes, "No, it's snowing outside." And I go, "Seriously?" And I went and I looked outside, and it wasn't like, you know, on the ground or anything like that, but it was like spitting snow. And I was like, oh my God. And all day today, it was cold, and it was like spitting snow, and it very much, I've said spitting snow like 4 times now. I think that was actually my 4th time to say it. Spitting snow, let's make it 5. Spitting snow, let's make it 7. I was so excited because it was so Christmassy, and it put me in such a great mood. You know, hear about my day. I've had such a great day. So I got up and I got dressed right away so that I could go to pick up the dinner rolls from Taylor's Bakery. And I got a Santa face cake, vanilla, or white cake. And then I also got a pumpkin pie with the butter rolls. And then I also got a sweetheart roll, which is actually back here. I need to remember to take that in when I go back to the house for the morning, for when we're opening presents and stuff. And I'm walking up to Taylor's Bakery, which you have to kind of know the history of Taylor's Bakery. So Taylor's Bakery in Indianapolis has been around for literally ever. It's just like a mom and pop shop. And there's 2 locations now. There's one in Fishers and there's one at like 62nd and Allisonville, which that one has been around forever. And when my mom and my aunt were in high school, like my grandma would get the dinner rolls from there. And that's how like the dinner rolls, like if you've watched my review, I've told a story on there, I think I told it on here too, have become kind of like a joke in our family. And then so as we grew up, we always had Taylor's Bakery dinner rolls. Caroline would always get a turkey cake. My aunt would always get a turkey cake for Thanksgiving. It's a cake that looks like an actual turkey. And then a Santa cake for Christmas and stuff. And there's like this decadent chocolate cake. I think she got it from Taylor's Bakery. I don't remember. She always called it her decadent chocolate cake that she got from somewhere that we would have on Christmas Eve. But I didn't get one of those. But anyway, so because my aunt would like cook, and my grandma when I was younger would cook everything, my mom always just had to bring the rolls. Well, she would always complain about how expensive they are when they're literally like $7.50 or $7.95 for like 12 rolls or something like that, which I don't think is that expensive. But anyway, they're really good flaky. They're called flaky butter rolls, or butter flaky rolls or something. Flaky butter rolls, I don't know. Anyway, oh, that Halloween place is now a Hickory Farms place. That's funny. So anyway, my mom would always say stuff. So when we went to Chicago for my mom's 60th birthday, it was my ex and I, my mom, and my Aunt Kathy and Caroline. And we were like going in this cab somewhere. I think it was when we were going to Crate and Barrel, and the outlet store in Lincoln Park, because Caroline wanted to go there. My mom was like, I want to pitch in some money for the cab. And my mom was like a penny pincher, totally, always, her whole life. And I mean, cabs are expensive, you know. And so my mom was like, "Here, let me give $1 for the cab," or something like that. And Caroline goes, "Just keep it for the dinner rolls for Thanksgiving." And then one time my mom was like talking like incessantly, because she talked a lot, at some like birthday dinner that they were at, and Caroline said, "Zip it," to her. So I did this whole like thing on my review channel, and I went to Taylor's Bakery, because Caroline now like has passed on to me that I'm supposed to bring the dinner rolls. And if you watched my video that I did with her, she said she was really upset a couple years ago because I was supposed to bring the dinner rolls. It was like the only thing I was supposed to bring, and I didn't bring them. So this year for Thanksgiving, I went to get dinner rolls and stuff from Taylor's Bakery, and I like did this review, like haul, like a Taylor's Bakery haul, where I bought a bunch of stuff, and I bought cookies for Carlitos and Sebastian, and then I like showed it, and I like filmed the inside of the store. Well, a couple people like emailed Taylor's Bakery and was like, we saw Peter's review, we want to order stuff, but we're not in Indianapolis. And they like, one person CC'd me in the email, and they were like, "Oh, thank you for that. You know, we'll check out the video, whatever. That's really nice. But no, we don't ship stuff out of Indianapolis. We're just like locally sourced, and we're just local or whatever." And so anyway, I didn't think much about it, and I was walking in there today to go get pick up my order, because I had made the order online. And the guy was like at the door, and he was like holding the door open for people that were coming in and out. And he had like a Taylor's Bakery coat on. And I started walking up there, and he goes, "Hey, Peter." And I go, "Hi." And he goes, "Zip it, Caroline." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "We loved your video." And I said, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I didn't even think you guys would see it. And I was so worried because I filmed in the store, and I thought you would be upset about it." He goes, "Oh no, we loved it." And he goes, "We've had so many people say stuff to us about it." And I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then I went inside, and he was like, took me inside, and I went and got my order. And then his brother, it's like these two owners, his brother like introduced himself to me and gave me this like bag of caramels that's like the grandfather's recipe, like his personal recipe. And I was like, "So you guys are like the owners now?" And they were like, "Yeah." And the one guy was like, "Oh my God, my sons love you, and they love YouTube." And they were so excited that like a YouTuber had come in our store. And he was like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And so he was like, "Here, I want to give you a bag of these caramels." He was like, "This was our grandfather's like original like recipe, and I really want you to have some because they mean a lot to us." And I was like asking him some stuff, and he was like, "Well, it was our grandma, like I think it was our great grandma or great grandma." He said everything in the store is her original recipe. And but it was really cool to hear like the whole family history of how the whole store started and everything. They were so nice. I called Caroline like immediately when I left, and she almost started crying on the phone. She was like, "Our moms would have loved that." I said, "I know." I said, "It made me so happy." I said, "They were so, so nice." So then I went to Starbucks, and then I came home, and Alex was going over to his aunt's house early to kind of hang out with them for a little bit. I thought we were just kind of going over there to hang out. I didn't like just to stop by for a little bit. I didn't really think it was anything more than that. I don't think Alex thought it was either. And so I I got a new flannel shirt from Macy's. Like, isn't it cute? 30% off. I got it like a week ago, or like a week and a half ago, whenever I went to Macy's. I don't remember. But anyway, so he left. I brought him some coffee, and then he left and went over there, and I uploaded my vlog and uploaded it on my phone so I could make sure I got it up in time. And then I took a shower, and I had to wash my jeans really quick and stuff because I wanted them to be nice for tonight. And so, because I have this like really comfy pair of jeans, these buffalo jeans that I have on that I like. And then I took a shower and got ready, and so I went over to his aunt's house, and they were like waiting for me when I got in there. It was just like his aunt and uncle and grandma. But they had made like a whole Christmas dinner with like ham bread and I always mispronounce this, ayakas, which is like this Venezuelan like traditional like meal that they have for Christmas. And then his Uncle Ed made like mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, a protein salad for me that had like, he made it just specifically for me, but like everybody had some. It was like spinach leaves and like blueberries and feta cheese. It was so good. And so we had like a really nice time there. We took a bunch of pictures with his grandma and it was so fun. And it was nice to see them, you know, even though it was just like real small. And so we stayed there for a little while, and then he stayed a little bit he stayed a little bit longer because I went over to Caroline's to order the Chinese food at Caroline's house. And so Caroline and I got over there and I said, okay, Alex is going to come over when like the food's on its way. And she's like, well, none of these places will deliver. She's like, so we have to go pick it up. Is that okay? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. So she was like, let's, so we ordered all the Chinese food, and then Caroline and I, it's like, we got more snow up here. It's like an inch or so up here, on the north side of Indianapolis. So, Caroline and I go to pick up the food at this Chinese restaurant, and you guys, it's right now it's 10 degrees in Indianapolis. It is really cold out tonight. The line was literally like, there was like 5 people in the store. I mean, everybody was spaced apart like 6 or 7 feet. And there was like 5 or 6 people in the store. There were 23 people ahead of me in line. And we were all like looped out into the parking lot. And we pulled up and Caroline's like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And I was like, girl, it's fine. We'll just wait. Don't worry about it. And so we went out there and got in line. I said, go sit in the car. I said, this is stupid. You don't need to stand out here with me. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, go sit in the car, stay warm. So I stood out there, everybody was like talking and stuff. It was real funny. And it took us like, I had to wait out in the line like 45 minutes for this Chinese food, but it was kind of fun. Everybody was like talking about, you know, Christmas and stuff. It was nice. And talked to a bunch of people earlier today, texted with my sponsor, talked to Tanya, talked to my dad. They're like literally doing nothing except for that. Like they ordered like really nice steaks that my dad was gonna like grill out tonight. I was like, what are you guys doing? He's like, we're not doing anything. He was like, we don't ever do anything. He was like, we're having really nice steaks and that's it. He was like, I ordered these nice steaks. He was real excited about it. He's so cute. So, I said, well, I'm waiting, I've been waiting at the house for my Christmas presents to be delivered. Because you're going to be waiting a while. And I said, I was asking him what he got my stepmom for Christmas and all this stuff. So anyway, my dad is so funny, but we talked for a long time today. It was nice. And so, yeah, so then Caroline and I brought the food back and it was just us. It was like real small. And we ate the food and then we played this one game called something. Oh no, the first game, I don't even know what the game was called. It was these cubes, and you just went around and asked people questions, and they were like really random questions. Like Caroline asked me like what was a book that I wanted made into a movie, and I said a book that I had read that I wanted made into a movie, and I said Where the Crawdads Sing, and but it was nice. It was Caroline and Mike and Alex and I and David and Mike's other son who's visiting. And that was it. It was nice. And then we played another game. We played the meme one. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where you put up like a picture and then you have to like each like throw down a card and it's like the answer to this meme. And yeah, it was funny. We played that and then we hung out for a little bit. And it just was really nice. And we stayed there. God, we stayed there for a long time, till like 10:30. And then Melissa really wanted us to stop by, and like we were supposed to decorate these sugar cookies. We got there so late. We got there at like 11:30, something like that, because we stayed at Caroline's so long. And so Jason had already gone to sleep, so it was just Alex and Melissa and I. We just sat around and we like iced these. We all iced these cookies and put sprinkles on them that she had made. They were so delicious. We sat there and talked to the dogs and her cat, Mikey Meowers, and they were waiting for Santa Paws to come. Isn't that so cute? And I like switched the thing on my camera with the knob at the top, and I don't know what I switched it to because I'm totally not technological and I have no idea about anything to do with the camera. Every time I talk to YouTubers, they always know so much about their cameras. I know nothing about my camera except for to push a button and start to record. I mean, literally, that's all I know. Like when I started this, I didn't even know how to put like the memory card into the computer. And this is a true story. So, it was funny because when I was talking to like Michael from Popology, he was like, yeah, you need to get this camera. And I was like, what camera? And he was like, well, it's kind of pricey. And I said, how pricey is it? And he was like $2,300. I was like, oh, no, we don't need a camera like that. Like, the camera that I have is just fine, and I think it's expensive. And he started laughing at me. He was so sweet. He's such a nice, he and his wife were so nice. It's kind of slick up here. But I do need to get a microphone. That's one of my goals for 2021 is to get a microphone so you can hear me better in my videos. But I don't know that people really care. Maybe not for my vlogs, but maybe for my at-home videos where I'm sitting down. So that was that, and then I just took Alex home. He's so tired. Poor guy. So he's going to bed, and then I took Boo and Tucker outside. They were so cute. I started moving this camera to try to get it situated in this beanbag, and I turned it off. So anyway, I took Boo and Tucker outside, and they were so cute. They were like hopping all through the yard and running after each other and stuff. It was so cute. And but like I wanted them to go potty, you know, like so that they could go upstairs and go to bed. And if one of us is inside and the other one, like right when we get home, if like one of us is inside and the other one is outside, like they only want to come outside really quick and go potty and then go run back inside. And so Tucker ran outside and pooped, and Boo Bradley is just like hopping in the snow and stuff. And I said, so they kept on like running up towards the door to go inside because they knew Alex was inside. And I said, Booby, I said, you need to go do your poopies, Booby. And he would like run back out and he would like look at me, and then he would like run through the yard, and then he would run back up to the front door, and I go, Boo, you have to go do your poopies, Boo. So finally he did, but they're so cute. I love those little guys so much. They're so cute. So yeah, that was our Christmas Eve. It was wonderful. We had a wonderful Christmas Eve. And on top of all that, I got a white Christmas. Can't believe it. It's wonderful. What a wonderful life. And I've been listening to radio classics right now on Jazz Standard and Classical. Jazz Standard and Classical. 73 holiday traditions. They're playing Carpenters. Do you hear what I hear? Ooh, that was bad. Do you hear what I hear? A song, a song. But on Radio Classics, they're playing Abbott and Costello. Not my favorite, so I'm not sad that I'm missing that right now. But I've been listening to that on and off all day long. I was telling Alex on the way back from Melissa's because I was playing it. I think it was like the Jack Benny show. And I said, I used to listen to these when I was a little kid with my mom. I was telling him the story, and he was like, yeah, because they didn't have TVs then, right? I said, shut up. I said, you think you're so funny. He got his Warby Parker glasses, and they're actually not the same ones that that I wanted. I thought they were, but his are more like rectangle. Rectangle. His are more like rectangle shaped. So yeah, they're not the same ones at all. Do you hear what I hear? Oh, it's off now. Bobby Darin, Christmas, Old Lang Syne. Do you hear what I hear? And I was gonna make a drama video today, and then I just was kind of like, I don't know why I can't get that line right. Do you hear what I hear? I can't. I think the older I get, like, I just cannot. I'm like, I don't know, not musically inclined. I was gonna make a drama video today, but I just wanted to kind of like relax and spend time with Alex, which was really nice that I got to do all of that today. And so I was like, you know what? The drama can wait. I'll make a video on the 26th when I come back, and it'll be so drama filled. And so that's what I did. I waited. And it was nice, but it was kind of weird. I kept on feeling kind of like this, like this urge to make a drama video today. I don't know why. And I was kind of like, nope, just get ready so you don't have to rush, which was nice. This gas station up here, I can see that the lights are off. It's always closed on Christmas, which I think is always strange. Like, it's a gas station that's usually open every day of the week, 24 hours a day, but yet it's closed on Christmas Eve. Is that strange? Like, I wouldn't think that's strange for like a grocery store or like something like that, but like a gas station, I think it's kind of strange because people are traveling on Christmas Eve, right? I was talking to Caroline, and well, we were all sitting around talking, and I said, Caroline, what was your favorite Christmas that you've ever had? Because I asked Alex's abuela, I said, because she's 90, and I said 90 Christmases. I mean, think about that. 90 Christmases, you guys. Like, that's crazy. And I said, 90, I said, what was your favorite? And so, like, Alex was, like, translating with her, and she was saying that she had had several different Christmases that were, like, she said, you know, they're all so different. She was like, when I was really young in my 20s, it was fun because we would stay up late and celebrate and dance. And she was like, then for each of my kids, when, you know, I had my kids and I was married and young and married, she was like, those were really fun Christmases. And she's like, but, you know, like, as I've gotten older with my grandkids, like, those have been really fun Christmases as well. And I was asking Caroline, like, what her favorite Christmas was. And she said when they went to Florida and it was just them. I was like, oh, thank you, Caroline. She was like, no, but it was just so easy. She was like, because we didn't have to, like, cook the whole meal and do all of that. She was like, you know, it was just easy. We could just lay on the beach and stuff like that. I feel like I know so many people that are going to Florida right now. Specifically Key West. I feel like I know several people that are going to Key West. Do you know what's really weird? Is there's no snow up here whatsoever. I wonder if it just, like, came through, like, just a certain area. I just realized that. There's, like, no snow on the ground whatsoever. And when I left, well, you saw it, I showed you, when I left our house area, there was, like, probably a half an inch of snow on the ground. But there's none over here. And I would have thought there would have been more up here. When I dropped off Alex, well, I didn't drop him off because I went inside, but when I came back out to my car, I was thinking to myself, this is when my mom and I would watch, like, late at night, we would watch the midnight mass at the Vatican. I don't know why that was so incredibly Christmassy to me. I mean, it's the Christmas services at the Vatican, right? So I guess that's part of it, but I'm not Catholic. My mom's wasn't Catholic. She was raised she started going to Episcopalian church when she was in high school. And then when she married my dad, she converted to being Lutheran. But do you hear what I hear? I can't sing it, so I don't know what's wrong. A song, a song. It's gonna be kind of sad to drive around and not see all the Christmas lights. They're so pretty. Alex's uncle and I were talking about how, like, yeah, there's like no snow up here. It must not have snowed up here. It must not have snow. Is it snowed? No, it must not have snowed up here. Snowed. It must not have snowed up here. I did not finish the mistletoe promise. I'm not even halfway through it yet, and it's only 5 hours, and I thought I would have it finished. And I could stay up tonight and finish it, but I thought it might be kind of fun to drive around for an hour and just listen to it since it's a Christmas book. I may feel like that when I'm done vlogging. I don't know. I'm not going to vlog for a really long time tonight. I woke up today, you guys, after, what was I going to say? Oh, well, first of all, Alex's uncle and I were talking today. Well, here's some snow on the ground over here. Alex's uncle and I were talking about how, like, when we were growing up, that there was like snow, a lot of snow in November. Like, you know, he said, I remember having to shovel snow in November. We were talking about, like, is it like climate change? Like, you know, what is it that we don't get that kind of snow around here anymore? We just don't. I don't think last year we really had, I might be wrong, but I don't really remember one bad day of snow like last year. It's weird. When I was growing up, we used to get like feet of snow. What was I gonna say? Mistletoe promise. I don't remember. Oh, I said I might listen to it for a little bit, for an hour. Well, all I really need to do is listen to it for an hour because I'm listening to it on 3 times speed. If I listened to it for an hour, I would finish it when I got it done. I thought that might be kind of Christmassy to do, but I'm also kind of tired. Oh, this is what I was going to say. When I woke up today, you guys, from doing all of those cameos yesterday, and screaming and shouting and flipping fans. And then I got so many messages today, like specific messages from people. I got tweets, and I also got direct messages from people saying that they got my cameos and how much it meant to them. I cannot even begin to tell you how much that meant to me. It was so nice to see that other people like had gotten those as Christmas gifts and how much it meant to them. Like, that made me so happy today. So I woke up, and my dad, because I had talked to Alex in the morning, but he didn't really say anything about it. But when I was talking to my dad on the phone, he was like, "You've lost your voice." My voice was like so crackly this morning. Like, I barely had a voice. It was like wispy. And so he was like, my dad was like, "Were you talking a lot yesterday?" I was trying to explain to him what a cameo was, and he did not understand it at all. He kept on saying, like, he would say, "Oh, you mean like this?" And I was like, "No." So anyway, I go, "It doesn't matter, Dad." But anyway, I was like, "But I had to talk a lot for like 3.5 hours." And he was like, "All for videos you were doing?" And I go, "No, Dad." They were like, finally I just was like, "It doesn't matter." He started laughing. But between doing those cameos and then doing my vlog last night, right after that, like, I completely, like, could almost hardly talk. Completely could hardly talk. I, like, was losing my voice when I woke up this morning. I was like, rah, 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 rah. My horsey voice. Oh my gosh. And then all day I've been thinking about all these Christmas movies and Christmas shows that I wanted to see that I didn't see. First of all, Charlie Brown's Christmas I didn't get to see this year because the only place they showed it was on Apple TV, and I couldn't find it anywhere else. And then Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer I didn't watch. I actually think that's on YouTube. So I might put that on as I'm going to bed tonight. Just watch a little bit of it, but it's like an hour long. Box of Delights. Is that the next one I was going to say? Well, Miracle on 34th Street. I don't usually watch It's a Wonderful Life. That's just not one that I usually watch, but what was the other thing I was going to say? A Box of Delights. It's like one of my favorite ones. It's based on this book. And then I remembered that I wanted to read the book this year because somebody had sent me the book last year. And I didn't read the book. There's a house that has stairs that go up to like the one bedroom, and it looks so pretty in there. I didn't watch Box of Delights this year. I didn't watch Season of Miracles. I started watching Smoky Mountain Christmas. I got like halfway through it while I was putting up a Christmas tree and doing some other stuff. I watched a little bit of A Christmas Carol. I listened to a little bit of The Christmas Carol. Did I say that last night? It was on the radio. Christmas Carol last night. Was on the radio classics, like what's on right now? My friend Irma Marie Wilson. I don't know what that is. But yeah, I didn't really watch Christmas movies this year at all. And I never did watch Christmas Chronicles 2. Oh well. And I know you guys are probably like, well, you can still watch it, even though Christmas is over, okay? Like, here's how I am about it. Like, once Christmas is over tomorrow, I'm done with Christmas. Do you know what's so funny? This one year, I don't know how old I was, but this was not the one Christmas that Santa came to visit me when I was sick. I was older than that. I was like 10. When this happened. But I think I was having like a really difficult time with school that year. I think that was like when the bullying was like at its hardest. And I would have been like in 5th grade, right? It's like 4th or 5th grade or something like that. And I had like gotten sick over Christmas. And I had moved into our TV room, which was like our guest bedroom. It had like this L-shaped brown couch in there. And it had this round table that I would like take the slate in the middle out and like roll it to the side, and then I would like pull the bed out because it had like a pull-out bed in it. And I brought it and it had this huge TV that we had like our Betamax and our VCR and stuff in there. And we ended up putting our VCR downstairs on the porch. But it was like in there for the longest time. And we had like a Betamax, those old school video things. And before we had the VCR, I remember nobody had a Betamax. Everybody thought it was so strange. And I had all my shows taped, Miracle on 34th Street. I remember there was like this weather guy here in Indianapolis, and his name was Bob Gregory, and he had real curly hair. If anybody's my age from Indianapolis, you'll remember Bob Gregory. And I think that was I'm almost positive that was his name. And he like introduced Miracle on 34th Street. Do you remember when we used to tape shows? Like we would tape them on like a Betamax or a DVD. And he was like, tonight's movie is Miracle on 34th Street. And I remember like watching that so many times that he was always at the beginning of that. I remember because I had taped it off of TV. But I moved like all of my stuffed animals in there. I had all these Christmas stuffed animals, all of my Christmas books. I had all of my Christmas DVDs and these Betamax tapes out. And I literally moved into this TV room. And I can remember my mom was finally like, I missed like going back to school. I missed like the first week and a half. And I had been sick like all through Christmas. Like I didn't really want, I don't even really think I was that sick. I think I got sick like for 2 or 3 days. And then I liked just like being in that room. And it was like this, I moved my I had a little Christmas tree in my bedroom. I moved it into that room and I was like living in that room. Maybe I was younger. Maybe I was like 3rd grade. But I can remember I did not want to go back to school. And I can remember my mom saying to me, you have to go back. You have to go to school, Peter. She was like, I know you don't want to, but you have to. And I can remember I went back to school on like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and I could not wait to come back to that like Christmas room that I had. And I just like, every night for like weeks after that, because I begged my mom to leave the Christmas tree up downstairs. And I had also, this was the other thing. God, I must have been really young. I must have been like 2nd grade or 3rd grade. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was like 1st grade or something. I don't think I was that young though. But is that frozen? That little lake that they have? Was that like frozen? Yeah, it wouldn't have been 5th grade. It would have been like 1st through 3rd grade. I'd asked my mom to leave the Christmas tree up. We literally left it up until like February. And she was like, because it had red lights on it, because I wanted red lights that year. And she was like, we should just take all the ornaments off and put red hearts on it and call it a Valentine's Day tree. But I had seen that movie with Jacqueline Smith from Charlie's Angels called The Night They Saved Christmas, I think it's called, or The Year They Saved, I think it's The Year They Saved Christmas. I think it's The Night They Saved Christmas. And it was with her and her son that was in that movie. It came upon a midnight clear. That's another movie I didn't watch this year that I wanted to watch. And then he was like her older son that they were like real, like this elf took them to the North Pole, and like neither one of them believed it was really the North Pole, and it was like this mass hallucination thing. And then she had a younger son and daughter, and I think like I had in my mind, like I felt like our house was like this Christmas house, like in the North Pole, and I was like, I felt real safe there, and I'd like imagine that like we lived at the North Pole and stuff, and I did not want to go to school. I hated school. Like with a passion. And yeah, I remember my mom was finally like, okay, this needs to come to an end. This Christmas stuff. Like, I think somehow in my mind, I just felt like Christmas at home, I was safe or something. You know, I'm so surprised when I look back on like growing up and being like bullied and stuff so hard. Like, first of all, it was so on such a regular basis. And it was verbal, mostly physical. I mean, kids would push me and stuff like that. But like, I remember teachers seeing it. I specifically remember it in high school with this French teacher that I had. And she didn't, I remember a certain incident. And she didn't really, I can remember she said, like, I'm sorry when I was like walking out of the class. She was very sweet. And she didn't really know what to do about the situation. That was like the first day of class, my like junior year. And I also remember that was it was like my junior year, and it was like a sophomore that like this young guy, and he was like we had to go up and introduce ourselves or something when I was coming back. I put this in my book actually, and that I wrote, Before Now and After Then by Peter Monn. And when I was coming back to my desk, although the way that it happened in the book is not how it happened in real life. There was no Cher, she didn't trip him and all that kind of stuff. But, because he was like the bully in my book. But when I was walking back, I like passed his desk, and he like mimicked my voice and made fun of me. And I remember everybody laughed and thought it was hilarious. And I was like, it was right before class was ending, and then like after that I got my stuff and I walked out, and I was like the last one to walk out, and the teacher looked at me and she was like, I'm sorry. But I remember when I was younger, like I had teachers, I mean, even like, I remember a few things that had happened, but I don't remember tons. But like, you know, I was always picked last for everything in gym. I mean, like that whole, you know, that whole story is old as time, right? And then I can remember playing like dodgeball and stuff, and kids just like, you know, everybody else, they just kind of throw the ball, but with me, they'd like nail me, you know? And plus I was a real effeminate kid anyway. And I feel like, okay, that was the first thing. Then my grades sucked. Like, I was not a good student. And I can remember, like, I would always test, like, super, super high on, like, I don't remember what I think they were called, like, a cata. No, that's the drug certification in Indiana. They were called the ICAT tests when I got older, but I don't remember what they were called when I was younger. But remember those Scantron tests that you would take, and they would test like your math skills and your English and whatever. I never tested well with math. Like, I was never smart with math, but like with English, I was just always off the charts. But I never, like, my grades didn't match that. The only class I ever did really, really well in when we were growing up, I don't even think they have it anymore, was social studies. But like, even in English, I didn't do very well. And I never was really great with grammar, and I'm still not. But I remember, like, just not getting good grades on report cards and stuff. And, like, no teacher saying anything, you know? And here you have this kid who's, I know my parents told them that they were going through a divorce, because I can remember, like my teachers knew that. I don't know how I know, but I just remember that my teachers knew that. And because there weren't a lot of kids whose parents were getting divorced. And so here you have this kid in elementary school whose parents are going through a divorce or are divorced. And then, you know, which would have been like late 70s, early 80s. I mean, there just were not that many parents not in my neighborhood, that were divorced, you know, and broken families is what they would call them. And then who's getting bullied for being effeminate, and teachers have to be witnessing it. I mean, if it's happening to me, and it would seem like it happened right out in the open all the time, then they had to have seen it from time to time. I mean, maybe not every time it happened, obviously, but from time to time. And then on top of that, you have this kid that's not getting any good grades, or getting any grades, has no friends, and is always sitting by himself and very quiet. I mean, I would go out to I always had like one or two girlfriends, but that was it, you know? And on top of that, I was like a total daydreamer. I was always just like looking out the window and doodling and stuff, you know? And, I mean, we didn't test kids back in the day for having ADD or ADHD or any of that kind of stuff. And I look back on that, you know, it's like, none of my teachers were concerned. You know, I love when we watch these things where you see like these TV shows, and I had good teachers. I did, you know, I mean, with the exception of one or two teachers that I think were, I don't know, probably overworked and jaded or whatever, and just really weren't that invested. I mean, I had really good teachers, and I went to good schools, and but you know, like, you see, by the way, I just want to say these Uggs are so comfortable, you guys. These are like my new favorite shoes. I was standing outside when I took the dogs out, and I was like, these really are like such perfection, these Uggs. I mean, I know that they're so totally basic, but they are so comfortable, you guys, and they're so warm on my feet. And of course I'm not wearing any socks, so. But, you know, like when you watch TV shows or movies, and like the teacher pulls a student in, like when I was watching My So-Called Life, I haven't watched an episode of it in probably 2 months, but when I was watching it, I think around Halloween time, the teacher calls Claire Danes in there, and she's like, is there something going on at home? It's like, you know how you always see that in TV shows where the teacher calls a student in, and she's like, is there something going on at home? Or he, or if the teacher's male, you know, he or she she or he says, is there something going on at home? I feel like there's something going on. And they're always like, no. Like, that never happened to me in 12 years. I don't remember ever having a teacher pull me in and ask me. And in fact, when stuff would happen, this was in high school, when stuff would happen with me getting bullied, the teachers had no education on how to handle it. I don't necessarily fault the teachers for it, because I don't think they, like, in retrospect, and I used to go in and talk to school systems about this and stuff like that, but about my experience being bullied, well, a couple, you know, but anyway, I don't fault the teachers, because I don't think that a lot of the teachers, especially if they weren't bullied, really know, like, how to handle a situation like that. They don't have the education for it, right? So we shouldn't fault them for that necessarily. But at the same time, like, I would get sent to the office or to the dean with the bully. Like, I had done something wrong, you know? And it really does kind of set up this mentality in your mind that you provoked it. And I can remember this one dean that I had when I was in high school. I couldn't stand him. And my dad went off on this guy. I mean, he went off. He was so upset. These kids had screwed with my car and done all kinds of stuff to it and written on it all over it in lipstick and, you know, derogatory words about gay people. And it's really hard to get lipstick off a car, if you didn't know that. And this dean was basically like, what did you do to provoke it? I remember he said to me, and I just kind of looked at him like, you're the biggest idiot I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was real quiet in high school. Like, I didn't say much. I never really stood up. I never stood up for myself. There was one time with a teacher that I did, but other than that, I never stood up for myself. And I remember this dean was like, what did you do to, like, why are they mad at you or something? And I just looked at him and it stopped. It was at the end. I remember looking at this guy thinking, are you such an idiot? Like, I get picked on every single day, you know? And then I would also, like, I did have teachers and like that, like, I think it was that dean. If not, it was, I also have this principal. So this is kind of funny. My high school principal was also my stepmom's high school principal. I just remembered that. I don't know why I just remembered that, but anyway, she didn't like him and I didn't like him. And, but I think one time, like, I had to go talk to him or something, and he told me I needed to, like, toughen up. Let me just tell you this with bullying 101. Don't ever tell a kid to toughen up, okay? You have no, this is the thing that people don't understand, right, about bullying and stuff like that. You know, but for the grace of God, I had a family that was extremely supportive of me and loved me. And, you know, I would come home and my mom would hug me every day and kiss me on my cheeks. She was very affectionate. You know, my dad, my stepmom, you know, everybody. I was surrounded by love when I wasn't at school. But if I hadn't been, like, let's just say if my home life matched my school life, which I know is so true of so many people out there, right? That, like, they go to school and their school can't be their place to get away because at school they're bullied, and maybe not for being gay, maybe for people think they're dirty and call them dirty or poor or something. Like, I always think that's the cruelest thing to bully people for, right? That have less than. Because usually if somebody comes to school and, like, maybe they don't have the nicest clothes, or maybe they aren't, like, you know, look the cleanest, or aren't bathed the much, you don't have any idea what's going on. You don't know that they're not taking care of 4 siblings, or that, you know, they're dealing with addiction issues with parents at home, or whatever. I mean, you don't know, you know, like, when we meet people on the street, we have no idea the circumstances of their life or what just happened to them. Like, we don't. You know, I remember a friend of ours, it's a hairstylist. She was talking, I asked her one time something about, like, when people come to you late. And she said, she said, I used to like say like, hey, if you come like, we were talking about people just showing up late to her appointments and stuff like that. And cause, well, it was, so we used to go to this fundraiser. It was like a, what do you call it? It was this celebrity softball game here in Indianapolis, down where they play baseball. And it was to raise money for, it was this foundation that they had started for this little girl that had died of cancer. And so it was like the Wish Kids to raise money for that. So we used to always go with her. Well, she was running late when we were going one night because somebody had come late. And I said, or had come to her appointment late, her last one. And that's how we were talking about it. And I said something about like, does it irritate you? And she goes, well, it used to. She goes, I got this woman in my chair one time. And she was running like 15 or 20 minutes late. And, I think that's how the conversation came up. I don't remember, honestly. But anyway, and she said, and I was going to say something like I couldn't, take her to do her hair that day. And I just thought, screw it, it's whatever. I'll just, figure it out. And she's like, I started. And she said, towards the end of the appointment, she said, the woman said to her, I know I was running late, but thank you for taking me. I found out like an hour before I came here that my dad had passed away, and I'm not going to have time to get my hair done before I have to go and make the funeral arrangements and whatever. And if you hadn't done my hair, then I wouldn't look nice for all of that. And you've made me, I just got to sit here for an hour and have you take care of me, and it really made me feel much better. And she was like, you never know what somebody just went through, like when you see them, when you meet them, right? Like you never have any idea what that person, the news that person just got, or what they went through, or whatever, And I think it's so true. And, you hear about all these things, horrible things happening to kids that are bullied in schools now, with self-harm and stuff. And I really think I don't think it's the only reason. I don't know why not me. I never thought of that. I think that had a lot to do with my drinking. I definitely do. I think that was the self-harm. That was how my self-harm came out, was in drinking. Because I started drinking at 12. I mean, let's be for real. That was like the epitome of escapism, right? I wanted to escape away from what people were saying about me and what I thought about myself inside my head. But I think in retrospect I hated myself for being gay, but I don't really think I knew that to put it into those words. But as far as like other forms of self-harm, like I never thought about that. I really didn't. But I think that had to do with because I was surrounded by love at home. I was surrounded by family that loved me, and I knew that. And so it was like, the safe haven, the safe respite, when I came home. But what about kids that don't have that, Like, I never did talk to my mom and dad about what was going on, but I always knew that I could. Like, I knew that at my core. Like, I knew if something got bad, and because there were things that happened that were bad that I did talk to them about. And I always knew that I had that, I remember when I was doing a practicum intern, that's what we called them, internships. When I was getting my master's degree, I was at this elementary school, and that was such an eye-opening experience. And I had no desire to do that practicum. I was like, God, I don't want to do this. And the experience was like, I learned so much. But the bullying that I experienced there was like, I remember two things. It was a really poor school anyway, but I remember two things with bullying. And it was about this one kid, and he was bullied for like not having nice clothes. And it like, his clothes were okay, but like he would wear the same clothes like a lot, and they weren't clean. And then he got bullied a lot for smelling. Like, people would make fun of him for not bathing. And I can remember he would just get so upset about it. And like my partner and I had like a partner that I worked with in there. Like there was a unit, so there was like 10 or 12 of us. I can't remember how many, but there was like first year students and second year students in the master's program. And this was my first year practicum. My second year practicum I did at the treatment program that I worked at, and I just rotated through all of the units. I literally worked in. I knew everything about that hospital more than anybody that worked in the hospital, because I worked in every unit. I worked in the EAP unit, I worked in the women's unit, I worked in the men's unit, I worked everywhere. I worked with the rec counselor, I worked with admissions, I worked with the assessment department. I knew, like, I had worked in every department. I knew how everything worked. I worked with the nursing director, the clinical nurse, I worked with, the counselors. I had some great mentors. I did that for an entire year. I could have ran that treatment program with what I knew. I mean, I really did. Like, not because I'm like, ooh, look at me, I'm an expert. It's like, I would be with like one person for 6 weeks, and then I would move on to the next person, and the next person, and the next person. So over the course of the year, I literally worked every department in that hospital. And it was funny because later, when I worked there, people would come to me and they would say, like, because a lot of people, like, the rotation, like, went through. So, like, let's say if somebody worked in the admissions department for, like, a year, by 2 years, there would only be, like, one person that still worked in there that had worked in there 5 years before. So they would come find me, and they would say, now, when you were here, how did they do this, this, and this? And it was funny, because, like, people would always come to me for stuff, which was nice, That was fun, actually, finding out about everything, because there was a lot of different things about how different units were ran. Back then it was more of a hospital setting. I think today, I haven't been there in forever. I think today it's more of just a treatment facility. And it was a treatment facility too then, but then they had they had major nursing units and things like that. Not just for it was all just, addiction stuff, but I learned so much. I got to help develop, educational programming. That was really interesting because, on a macro level for social work, back when I was getting my master's degree, I actually said this in a video one time, and somebody said, that's not with every master's degree program, and I said, yes, it is, or something like that. I think it was in a live stream because I believed that to be true, and I found out later that that was not true, that they had changed things. But when I was getting my master's degree, where I went to school, which was Indiana University's social work program, you either went into macro or micro. And micro was individual counseling, working in it. You would be like a clinician. Macro was program development. But in the school that I went to, you had to take classes with both to learn a little bit about, it'd be like a major and a minor. So I majored in micro, clinical social work, but then I minored in macro because I had to take those classes. You had to know about program development and stuff, and grant writing and things like that. Which, interestingly enough, one thing that I had absolutely no interest in, this is so funny when you try your hand at things and you never know how you'll be. One of the things that I never thought that I would be any good at, and I had absolutely no interest in whatsoever, that I found out that I was very good at, actually, was grant writing. And to this day, I haven't written a grant in a long time, but I could. I really understand just how to write a grant and how to look at it and the proposals and things like that. That was something that I really loved doing and found very interesting, honestly, after I started studying it. But so when I was in that school, I remember this partner that I had, and she and I actually worked together in this treatment facility too, but we both were at this elementary school. I still remember the school as Elder W. Diggs, School 42. And she and I also set up a group. We did a grief group with kids that had lost siblings to gang violence. That was the group that we set up. It was such, we didn't know what we were doing, and we revolved it all around this book called The 10th Good Thing About Barney, which is this children's book about grief, about this kid that loses his cat. And so he comes up with 10 good things to remember about his cat. And that was such a powerful group. It was so powerful. We had like 6 kids. There was like three boys and 3 girls who had lost siblings in gang violence. And I remember we grew these. Okay, so part of the 10th good thing about Barney is that they buried Barney and like it helps like these plants or flowers grow. And so we turned that somehow into this, like, because you had to write a program like of a group, like you had to develop a group. And if you've ever worked in a school system, so what we had to do was all modeled around banana splits. If you guys work in school systems, school social workers, teachers, you'll know what I'm talking about. Banana splits is old as time. So basically what it is you find something you want a group of kids that have a common interest in, okay, to learn through the course of a group, but then you do an analogy exercise practice to it. So like you would make banana splits on like the last day, but everything that you did leading up to that, I can't remember what the premise was before it was about, and the banana splits group is like super famous. So we all had to like we were in pairs and we had to come up with these groups. Well, we made these plants, or we planted seeds of hope, like seeds of hope kind of thing for these kids. And I can remember they would come running into the group every week. I can see it in my head. We had like this window where the group was, and they would come running in every week because they had like, you know, their name on the plant because they wanted to like see the plants. I think we were just doing like grass seed. And we ended up like coming in like the last week, and the plants were all like, the heat, like something had happened like in the school, like they had turned the heat off or something over the weekend because it was supposed to be like warm, but it didn't end up being warm, and like all the plants died. And I remember she was like, we've got to go buy grass plants right now. And we did. I think we ran out and did it. I can't remember now. But then we ended up like processing it, and it was so powerful, like the way that we processed these plants that they had been watching the whole semester die. And it was like almost kind of like it was supposed to happen. It was real powerful. But we did something, I think we did go buy the plants too or something, I don't remember. But I remember she and I had to call this mom, and the mom had to come in and meet with us. I did a home visit too. I don't remember. She and I went and did a couple home visits. I don't remember if he was one of the people that we did, but anyway, I remember meeting her, and she was very nice, but you could just tell she was struggle bus 1000. Like, I mean, she just could not pull it together, and she had like, just had like 4 or 5 kids, and she just couldn't afford her life, and it just was really sad, you know. And here you have this kid that was so sweet being bullied at school because he stank. Because, in all honesty, it wasn't his mom's priority to make sure that he was bathed and clean for school, or that he had clean clothes. I think it's sad, you know. And he was, I'm sure, forever affected like that, like how I was, you know. I don't think it really matters, like, what you were bullied for. I think it's all kind of the same. My friend Brittany, who's super involved in pageants, you know, and all this kind of stuff now, like, she has a really powerful story. She was bullied, like, right out of high school. She went back to her high school and spoke. Oh my God, the battery's gonna die. She went back to her high school and spoke several years ago. She was bullied out of her high school. I mean, like, they, like, threw stuff at her and stuff for being so skinny. And, like, they would yell at her and scream at her and call her names, like eating disorder names. She doesn't have an eating disorder, and it wouldn't matter if she did. Nobody deserves to get called those names. And, they would call her such horrible names and stuff. And, like, to this day, like, she's still like that is there. And she and I have, like, talked so deep about that because her experiences and my experiences are very, very similar, you know? Well, listen, you guys, my battery is dying, And I think I have vlogged for over an hour, and I was gonna vlog for like 45 minutes tonight since it's Christmas Eve and I wanna get home and go to bed with my husband. I wanna listen to a little bit of my audiobook first. So I'm gonna get off now, get off here now. I hope you guys are having the most fantastic Christmas. I know it's kind of a weird story to end on, but whatever. I love you guys so much. And I got 2 of the best Christmas presents to share. Okay, I'm back. My battery died while I was talking. So I guess I'll talk for just a couple more minutes because I didn't want to like just end it like that. But the moral of the story that I was trying to tell, or the moral of my story, is, you know, number one, we never know what somebody's backstory is. We never know where they're coming from, you know, and yeah, and I think that also I was gonna say, like, you know, a lot of people can't help whatever they're being bullied for. Most people can't help what they're being bullied for. I couldn't help that I was an effeminate kid. God, who knows what for. You know, I was sitting there tonight and we were talking about like having siblings versus being an only child. And I was saying, you know, like when I was growing up, like I really truly believe that a lot of why my mannerisms were the way they were was because I adored my cousin Caroline. I wanted to be like Caroline. Like, I loved her. I looked up to her, you know, and I looked up to her friends. And so 40 years later, you know, I have this great relationship with my cousin that I adored and I looked up to. And I don't think Caroline and I have ever had a fight in 48 years of me being alive. You know, not once. We talked about that in the video. So maybe that's the payoff. I don't really care today that I come across as effeminate. I know that other people have a problem with it, but I don't have a problem with it. That's their problem, not mine, you know? And so, like, it's always funny when people like will comment on my videos. I don't get this as much as I used to, but every once in a while somebody will come to my video and they'll be like, well, he looked one way and then he opened his mouth and he didn't sound anything like I thought he would when he, I thought, so those are your societal assumptions that you're putting on how somebody should look based, or how they should sound or act based on how they looked, right? Like, that has nothing to do with me. But yeah, that was a struggle when I was growing up and I couldn't do anything about it. So I think that like a lot of the things that people make fun of people for or bully them for or whatever, you know, is like mostly it's things they can't change about themselves. And I think that pain, you know, it's like when I was talking about this with Oprah the other day, you know, that like when she was talking to those women that had killed their kids, that she said to, you know, that were at Joliet State Penitentiary, she said to them, you know, like, that one woman said to her after the show, this was her aha moment, and they said, she came up to her and said, why don't you hate us? And she said, hate you? She said, no, I don't hate you. She said, because see, that's what you do with your pain, but I do something different with mine. And that we all do something different with our pain, you know, but we all experience pain on some level, emotional pain, you know, whatever. I also don't think, like, I look back on my experience growing up. Like, it's interesting to me now, like, when I see, like, my nephew Carlitos, right? And he's 8. And I think that some of the hardest years that I had of my life that still on some deep core level affect me today was when I was his age and kids his age were bullying me. And I look at him and I think, but does he at that age really have the capacity to understand how he is affecting somebody? And I don't think kids, and this was what allowed me to get to the point of forgiveness and love towards my main bully in high school, was, first of all, when he said to me something to the effect of like, if I knew that somebody was being cruel to my daughters the way that I had treated you in high school, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I would be very upset about that. And he said, you know, I look back on that and I think, I don't know, like, because he has twin daughters, and he was like, I don't know what I would do. Like, I don't know why I did that. He said it was just to be funny. It was, he was the court jester, It was just to be funny. It was to get attention. I don't believe that he came to school thinking, I'm going to ruin Peter Monn's life today. I don't believe that was on his radar. I don't believe he thought, and I'm not saying that I don't believe that there are some bullies out there that are really, like, think that way. But I do think that, God, every gas station is closed. Where do you get gas on Christmas Eve? Good thing I don't need gas. But I do think, like, I know my one gas station isn't closed because I was there getting gas the other night, and I said to the dude, are you going to be open on Christmas Eve? And he's like, yep, I'll be here. But yeah, I don't think that they go into it thinking, like, I'm going to really hurt this person. But the reality is they really are hurting people. And I don't think they understand that. And I think that's why those are teaching moments, Not just to scold, but to really help them understand. I remember years ago meeting up with a guy that I went to high school with. And he was always very nice to me in high school. And quite frankly, we didn't, like, have a lot of interactions in high school, even though we had gone to school together, like, always. But he was very successful, very good grades, fantastic athlete, scholarship, athletic scholarship to college. And I remember saying something to him to the effect of, like, you have no idea how tough high school was on me. And without missing a beat, he was, like, super good looking, popular, probably one of the most popular kids in our school, if not, like, the top 1 or 2 most popular guys in our school, dating the other most popular girl in school, beautiful couple, really nice guy. He was a nice guy, never was mean to me, never once, just had everything going for him. It appeared to me on the outside looking in, and I remember I said to him, you have no idea how hard high school was to me. You guys, this conversation was like 5 years ago. It was before I was on YouTube, so probably 6 years ago, something like that. But I said, you have no idea how hard high school was for me. I ran into him at the casino, actually. We were talking there. I'd seen him a couple times before that, but it was at the casino, and I said, you have no idea how hard high school was on me. And I'll never forget, he looked at me without missing a beat. He goes, you have no idea how hard high school was for me. And I go, what? I said, you had everything. He goes, do you have any idea the amount of pressure on me to be perfect and to get perfect grades and to be a perfect athlete? And, and I had never looked at things from his perspective. Here, all these years, To Kill a Mockingbird is one of my favorite movies and favorite books, but I had never walked around in his shoes on his front porch. I had never seen things from his point of view. I didn't know his backstory, that he had a coach that was constantly about, like, you've got to be perfect, you've got to be great, you've got to be the best, you've got to be this, and then he was driven to be, like, this perfect example of himself, No, that wasn't me at all. I don't understand that. I don't relate to that. Like, that wasn't my experience, That doesn't mean that his pain was any greater or any less than mine was. It was different. And I think in truly understanding people, it's not about comparing my pain to somebody else's. It's about acknowledging their pain and saying, I see you. And, we both went through stuff. And let's stop hurting. And let's stop hurting one another. And I feel, like, super blessed. I have to tell you, so if you don't know the story, I'll just tell it really quick. But when I got on Facebook, 12 years ago, before was it when I met Alex? I don't remember, but anyway, somebody tagged me. Do you remember those notes that used to go around on Facebook where people would say, like, just stupid stuff, like 10 dream jobs I always wanted to be, and then somebody would tag a bunch of people on it. There was just one note going around, and it was like 10 things or 25 things or something that nobody knew about me in high school. And I just put a bunch of random stuff on there, like a favorite song, and I don't know, just stupid stuff, right? that I could have gone to fashion design school, all these different stupid things, but I was too afraid. And the last thing I put on there was that every day that I went to school, I was terrified for my life, and that I was afraid. That was like the 9th thing out of 10 because of my bully. And that my 10th thing was that I was afraid to have my mom at my graduation because I was afraid that when I walked across the stage that he would yell derogatory words towards me, and that my mom would know the pain that I had gone through. And he reached out to me. He knew it was about him, and he said that he had talked to his wife, and he was very upset, very ashamed, and we went and had coffee, and we had a fantastic conversation. And I remember leaving that coffee, and I literally felt, now I don't think if I didn't have my sobriety, that I don't think I would have been able to do that. Like, I don't think that I would have, and I wasn't even at the greatest point of my sobriety at that point, you know? Well, not greatest, but I don't think I was at an understanding point in my life, but I had enough peace and serenity and had let go of a lot of anger in my life. And I don't think that if I wasn't sober, I don't think that I would have had the ability to be able to have that conversation and being open-minded about it. But I remember that I walked away from that conversation, and I was like, I really felt like in my heart like I could leave that behind me. And I know that I talk about it a lot, but I talk a lot about it because I think that it still impacts me today. I mean, just because we had that conversation and I forgave him and we talked, you know, that doesn't take away what the effect that the bullying had on me. It still does to this day, you know. When I went to counseling with Alex for marriage counseling, and I was in my individual sessions, and my counselor looked at me and said, I think that you suffered some pretty severe PTSD as a result of your being bullied for so many years, like not knowing where it was going to come next. And I, like, nobody had ever said that to me. Nobody had ever proposed that to me before, you know, and I never really thought of it that way. That was the first time that I had ever been like, really? Like, oh my God, I never thought of that, you know? And, but I was able to leave that behind. I was able to, it was very similar to making amends, you know? It was like I could leave that behind and move on. And then he went and did a bunch of stuff after that. It was so funny. Like, Alex and I did a lot of anti-bullying stuff, and we were doing a lot of stuff for like marriage equality. And there was like this student group at IUPUI, Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, the Gay Straight Alliance. They like, this bakery wouldn't make rainbow cupcakes for them, and Alex and I did this like radio show fundraiser for them and stuff, and he showed up to it. He would show up to all these like fundraiser things that we were doing, and I finally was like, at one point I was like, okay dude, you've done enough, like you don't have to do any more. And I think he felt like driven, like he had to, you know, like to show or to prove to me or to him, I don't know, that he was a changed person. But, you know, he had been a changed person for a long time. He doesn't even physically look like that guy. I can't even, like, I look at him today, because he's a friend of mine today. I look at him and I don't even physically see in him that kid in high school that bullied me. Like, he doesn't even look the same, you know? And I don't want to be bound to that forever. I have a friend of mine from high school. She still to this day is like, I can't believe that you forgave him. She was like, I mean, he made your life a living hell. And I'm like, but how long am I supposed to hold on to that for, you know? The rest of my life? Like, God, it still has an effect on me, but I don't need to sit there and be angry at him about it forever, you know? The other thing was that when I talked to him, I got to find out that, like, his life outside of school, like, all he really had was school at that time, you know, and people laughing and people thinking that he was a cool guy. Like, there was crap going on in his personal life that I was completely unaware of. And that does not excuse it or make it right, okay? I'm just saying that, like, it helped me. It's not about excusing it or making excuses. It's about understanding one another. You know, that's what I'm talking about with like walking, you know, in each other's shoes on our front porches and trying to understand each other a little bit, you know? And we're never going to fully understand, but maybe if we can understand each other a little bit, you know, we can come towards talking to one another, and instead of just being angry all the time at one another, you know? It's just like, it was funny because I got this cameo request from somebody, and she was like, I love you, and I love watching your videos, and she was like, and I'm a Shane and Jeffrey fan, and I thought it was so funny that she said that, and I was like, girl, I said, I love that you love them and that you love me, you know, like, I think people think that, like, I have this animosity towards these people that I talk about in my drama videos, and I know that people don't want to believe this, but it really just is not that deep for me. I mean, they really, truly are public figures to me that are, like, on a celebrity level that I talk about, right? Like, I would be completely kind and have a conversation with them if if they knocked on my door tomorrow, I'd be like, hey, come in. I mean, I wouldn't be rude, you know? Would I have questions for them? Absolutely. You know, if they were willing to have that conversation, you know? Would I say I have some issues with certain things? Sure, absolutely, you know? Just like I have with other people in my life, just like people have had with me in my life. But I think that's one of the things I strive for in my life today, and I don't know if this will make sense to some people out there, and other people it will be like, that's stupid, I don't understand that. But like, something I strive for today is God's grace, and I don't mean that on a religious level whatsoever. I mean that on a spiritual level. That face to face, meeting humans face to face, that I can treat them with the same grace that I would hope people would treat me with. And I don't always do a very good job at that, you know? But I hope that in practicing it, have done a better job than I used to do. I think when you are motivated and filled with anger and resentment, I think when you're motivated by anger and resentment, I think it's really hard to see outside of that, you know? And I think anger and resentment comes from pain. And to me, a resentment is an unfulfilled expectation. When somebody or something didn't act the way that you feel like they should have, or a situation didn't turn out the way that you think that it should have, you know? I think that's what a resentment to me is, an unfulfilled expectation. And, you know, I think when people are filled with anger and resentment, it's from a point of pain inside that we feel that we don't know how to discuss or acknowledge. It was funny because when Caroline and I went to the Chinese restaurant tonight to get the food, on the way home, I mean, it was really nice. She kept on saying it over and over. Look at all those lights, those lanterns out there that they lit at that church. It's so pretty. There's like milk carton lanterns. I love that. She's like, you are such a rock star. She was like, you kept on she's like, you did not even complain once about standing out there in the cold. I mean, it was bitter cold. And I was like, yeah. And she got back to the house and she was like telling everybody, she was like, telling Mike and Alex, she was like, you know, she was like, Peter didn't complain once about standing out there in the cold. I was so impressed. And she was like, Alex, does that surprise you? And he was like, it would have, like, you know, a year ago, but no. And Peter doesn't really complain about a whole lot today. And or he said something like that. He was being sarcastic later. I looked at him, I said, could she say something nice, please, about me? But he just started laughing. We were teasing each other so much tonight. He looks so handsome tonight in his new Warby Parker glasses. But anyway, I'm so excited to give my husband his Christmas presents tomorrow. We're gonna have so much fun. But Caroline's like, I thought that you'd be real upset. I said, honey, I just do not have it in me anymore to get real all up in arms and complain about something that I don't have a whole lot of control over anyway. I said, it's just not worth it to me. Peace and serenity is the way. And I'm not like a perfect example of that. Like, I'm not that always. But in those moments that I do find that, it's like, I don't know why I used to allow myself to get so fired up about stuff. Like, I honestly don't understand it, you know? I used to get so fired up. I think to myself, if presented with the same situation today, would I act differently? And I believe that I do. I believe that I would. And how would I handle those situations? And I think that that's where, like, for me, I find some growth in myself, you know, that emotional growth. That, you know, hopefully that I wouldn't maybe, like, respond or react the same way that I did in the past. But maybe I had to go through those things to realize that, you know? There's a lot to be said about peace and serenity. There's a lot to be said about, the emotional roller coaster that goes along with that is just, it's a lot for me, you know? Like, I used to run late a lot. And then I'd be running late, and I'd be in traffic, and I'd be pissed that I was running late in traffic when I had to get somewhere. And I'm not perfectly on time now either, but I'm not like late like I used to be. And it just would totally set my mood for the whole day. I'd be like, come on, come on, come on. And I'd be in my car. And then the whole time that I was going somewhere, I was all like riled up, you know? And then I would get there and I'd be flustered. And then somebody would say one wrong thing to me, and I'd be like, in my head, scripting, going off on them. And then the whole time that I was there, I'd be borrowing that, knowing that I had to get out of there to go somewhere else because I was in a hurry to go somewhere. You know what I mean? It was just, and it was that for a whole day. And it was that level of kind of like, you know, like that frazzled anxiety that I just was, or nervousness that I just was like through the whole day, you know? And then wondering why, oh, these lights are so pretty. Oh, look at those lights, they're so pretty. And then wondering why I just was like emotionally worn out all the time. Well, and just set off that quickly. I mean, we snap. I could just be set off that quick, you know? And I witnessed that in other people. I witnessed that anger, resentment, and frustration with other people that are irritable, restless, and discontent, which I feel like I was at that time, definitely. And I'm like, they are set off so easily. But I could never see it at the time with myself. Never. You know? And I still have the ability to do that. I mean, listen, like I said, I'm not a perfect example of any of this. Like, I still have the ability to, like, you know, get frazzled and riled up and whatever. But I don't like the feeling that goes along with that. I don't like how I feel inside when I'm, you know, so I try not to. But anyway, now I do think that I'm going to get off here. And I've actually vlogged for a lot longer than I thought I was going to. I don't know if the clock is right, but on time, but if it is, I vlogged for like an hour and a half, which I never expected that I was going to do tonight. So anyway, 2 Christmas presents that I got this year that I didn't get to say before was, number 1, I got my white Christmas, although it seems like some areas of town did not. Like this area, there's no snow really over here. The other Christmas gift that I got this year was that so many of you that have been around for a while have stuck with me with the vlog, and that means so much to me. I mean, there's some of you out there that have literally watched every single vlog. Some of you out there tell me that you've watched every vlog of mine like twice or 3 times. And then there are so many new people out there that have found my vlog this year and started watching. And I don't think you guys have really any idea how much this channel means to me. All of my channels that I have provide some kind of emotional gift for me. Something that I love to do, you know? It's like my booktube channel is like my passion, and the review channel, I get to have a lot of fun and try new things. My drama channel, I get to have an opinion and flip a fan and be funny. But I think sometimes I'm funny. I don't know, maybe I'm not. My Peterisms channel, I get to like share stories and read meditations, and it's very cathartic for me. My Peter Does Stuff channel, well, it's evolving. That's actually a channel where I get to think about how I want to be going forward. Like, a new part of my life, you know. But this channel is like where I get to come over and just talk and relive a lot of memories over, and sometimes 10 and 20 times, and you guys are probably tired of hearing them. And I get to talk about stuff that's going on with my life. Some days I just get to give a press conference, as my mom used to say when she would go to counseling, and say she just gave a press conference of what's going on in her life. But sometimes that's it. I just share with you guys what's going on with my life. But this channel is so cathartic for me. It's like a living diary. And you know, it was interesting because I was looking at like the views I get on this channel. And the views that I get on this channel per video are pretty much exactly where they were a year ago. Like I probably am getting less, actually. So I'm not getting any more. You know, it's like, so some people are leaving and new people are coming, but it's staying steady. And I love this channel so much. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you out there that either, you know, watch consistently and have made a commitment to watch every day. And those of you out there that, you know, stop in and watch a vlog every once in a while. I've gotten so many comments this year from people that have said, you know, like, I'm a silent watcher, I don't ever comment, but I just wanted you to know, or you guys will send me a little message or an email. And it's so cool to think that there are people out there that have like never commented on a video that watch literally every one of my vlogs. I've had so many people tell me they fall asleep to my vlogs. You know, the fact that you guys have helped me fall in love with my voice, which is something that I never thought I would say, and realize how much my voice is a part of who I am. And that even if given the option today, I would never change my voice. When people have said, oh, I love your voice is soothing, or I like listening to your voice in the vlog, or hey, you should start a podcast because your voice, you know, like that is so meaningful to me. And this channel is really, of all of my channels, this channel is my heartstone. And that's not because of me, that's because of you. In all honesty, it is. I just want to tell you guys, each and every one of you out there, how much I love you, and how much I appreciate you, and how much I appreciate the fact that you allow me to keep on doing this on a daily basis. And I love you so much. And I hope you guys, if you celebrate Christmas, are having the merriest of Christmases. If you don't, happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And I love you all. And I will, of course I'm going to vlog on Christmas, so I'll be back tomorrow. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Merry Christmas. I love you. Merry Christmas. Bye. Love ya. I mean, it's Christmas, so I had to come back and say, one more I love you. Just like Annie Lennox. I love you guys so much. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Like it said in the 4 agreements, always lead with love. Reach out, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you today from a point of love. Put kindness, love, compassion, understanding, and forgiveness out there in the world. Also, like I always say, practice random acts of kindness. But also, like I always say, don't tell anyone. And I love you. One more I love you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Bye. Love ya.